My name is Christine Marshall Dow, and I've been teaching for Maine State Ballet for, this is my 23rd year. First of all, I feel that it's really hard to talk about my teaching experiences or my favorite teaching experiences without getting choked up, and that may sound foolish, but I love these students, and they're all so unique and special in their own way, and a lot of times they don't even know it, you know. They haven't found out what they're capable of doing. Mrs. Mealy always says, you know, really play to the top of your class, meaning that everybody gets attention, but keep pushing them forward, you know? Another thing that Mrs. Mealy talked to us about way back when I first started was you really have to look at the role of a teacher as being like a farmer. You know, you plant these seeds. You can't yank the plants out of the ground to make them grow. They grow at their own speed. And maybe if you're planting a tree, you're not going to see what extraordinary height and beauty it's made of itself in your lifetime. So you might teach a student and hope for the best and never know that you had an impact on them. And you have to trust that and not be looking for that in the teaching experience. It's not about the teacher, it's about the students. So I know that I had a student a number of years ago who contacted me. She's a grown woman now, she has 2 kids. And I insisted on them dancing to Frank Sinatra all year. And I kept saying, you know, this is going to matter someday. You're going to be at a prom or a wedding or a party and you're going to be like, I know that that's Frank Sinatra. And she contacted me like years later and said that she did remember it and she danced to him at her wedding, and it was, you know, sort of lovely to hear that. I think hearing those things in retrospect reminds me that, yeah, you can't pull the plants out of the ground and you can only hope. A young man that I taught passed on several years ago, and he wrote a letter to me, I don't know, a couple years before he died. That meant everything to me. We didn't know he was sick then, but you can't have an expectation of that response from students, but if you try your hardest and you really have them in mind, and you try and understand them as individuals and help them progress, you just have to have faith that some of it gets through and that they carry it forward and maybe give it to someone else as they get older.